You know, Justin, there's some things I'm always in the mood for.
Number 1 would be lovemaking.
Tacos.
Number 3 would be atonal envelope stretched glitching.
And tacos. So today we're talking about number 3.
Right, that's right, yeah.
Which is the Chase Bliss Mood.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome pedal.
Yeah.
Hyped. A lot of people are talking about this.
That's true.
Kind of revolutionary in some ways.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a combination of what a lot of pedals in the past 2 years kind of do a little bit, but it does what a lot of them do, and it does them really, really well.
That's right.
Yeah.
We weren't sent this. We weren't given this at a
No,
discounted rate.
I purchased this myself, brand new.
Had to see it.
I had to see it, and I'm happy I did. You know.
That's right. Personally, I spent all my money on
Tacos.
1, 2, and 4. So I can't afford one.
Yeah, that's right.
But luckily you have one.
That's right.
So let's go through it. Show us what's up.
So, you know, basically, I'm going to try not to talk a whole bunch. We're going to try to really demonstrate the pedal. But just so you know, it's got 2 sides. One side is basically an always listening looping pedal, right? Which we're going to get into what that does. The other side has 3 pretty unique effects. So the effect side was made by Old Blood Noise.
Love
right?
those guys.
And then
Awesome.
the right side was made by Drolo Effects. And so this is a collaboration of 3 pedal companies that came together to do something really interesting. Mm-hmm. So I want to do the left side of the pedal first because it's a little less complicated.
And it's a little more traditional as far as what we would
That's
think
right.
of as pedal, right?
So the first thing is that it has a reverb. But this reverb is based on delay trails more than it is actual reverberation. So you'll hear, when we first start using it, it's going to sound an awful lot like a delay.
Sure. And by the way, clean.
There's
right?
your clean. Nice little D'Angelico clean.
Oh,
yeah.
into a Fender 65. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah. So the reverb, when I turn it on, is going to sound an awful lot like a delay.
You hear the trail?
Right. So the more that you increase the modify knob here, the more that those delay repeats kind of smear together.
So it's almost, as that knob goes clockwise, it becomes from a delay to a reverb.
Yeah.
I guess is
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. And so it just sounds like a really good modulated reverb, you know? And you can even turn... What's really cool is that it's going to sound weird as I turn the knob down, but it doesn't have to be soaking wet.
Right.
Right? You know? So the other effect that it has is just a delay, right? So the delay, I'm going to just put them both at noon so you can hear.
Okay.
It's just a delay. Right?
Sounds like a good delay to me.
Sounds like a good delay.
Sure.
So then we can play a little bit more with the settings and get... It sounds great. I also just want to say there are some features we're just probably not going to get to. This pedal
very complicated.
is very
We're trying to
in-depth.
keep this demo under
Yeah.
20 minutes like the other demos on
That's
YouTube.
right,
You'll see
that's
this
right.
pedal.
Right. So we have a reverb. We have a delay.
Nothing revolutionary about it yet. Just good sound of pedal.
Right. And then we have this feature called Slip. And Slip kind of takes things... It takes small samples of your phrase and it's gonna kind of stretch them in different directions, right?
Slip,
Forward and
slip
backwards,
it.
right? So I think that this should get us a good indication.
Ooh. Right there, it's like, all right, now it's interesting to me.
Yeah. And so what we're also able to do is we can make it go the opposite direction. So, right. I personally like it when it's turned all the way up. It has a cool octave harmony. Right. We can turn the time down. And then so at that point it does weird modulation.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
That's great. It sings.
Right, and
yeah.
and it does interact with the clock knob as well, you know, as you play. Kind of how everything in the pedal does. So what that clock knob is doing is it is increasing, and I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. It's increasing and decreasing the sample size,
Okay.
which is also increasing and decreasing the sampling rate, right? So the more clear and more true to what your guitar sounds like,
Okay.
the shorter these loopers are going to record.
So a quality, when I think of quality, I think of the sample rate.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That is what we're hearing. The highest sample rate would just be what your ears hear.
Mm-hmm.
A low sample rate is kind of like a crushed
Right.
sound.
And you can hear the pedal does get noisy as it goes down. The sample
Which is meant to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's intended.
Because you're crushing the sample, right?
And you can see that this red light is flashing, and it's flashing in direct correlation with the clock knob. So if I turn
Okay.
this down, you can see that it's going to flash. There are going to be longer intervals in between when it's flashing.
Got it. Okay.
So,
all right.
so
yeah.
this left side of the pedal we've covered is all just effects.
Mhm.
This right side are 3 different types of loopers, right? These aren't your grandma's loopers.
Not my grandma's
No way.
loopers?
No way. Mm-mm. These are really unique. They're always listening. So even though the looper is not on, every time that red light flashes, it's listening to what you're playing, and it's going to replay that.
Whether it's on or not.
Whether it's on or not, right? And you can see that it's flashing, and again, like it's with this clock knob.
Right, that's-
So your goal is to find the phrase that you want to play, right?
Make it last that long, I guess.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So anyhow, this first one is the envelope mode. And to make it real simple, this knob, this modify knob, it's going to set a threshold. If you play louder than that threshold, it's going to loop this sample, and it's going to play that.
That goes above the threshold is what gets looped?
That's right.
Okay,
And
all
then what you can do is you can loop, which we're going to demonstrate, is you can trigger something with the envelope, and then you can turn the sensitivity way down. That way you can play over your
I can
loop.
play over and it's not going to grab whatever it is.
That's
and
right.
become a mess.
Yeah, so
Okay,
let's see
all right.
let's see if we can let's see, we're going to turn this here, and let's see if we can get this to work first try, because it's
All right.
tricky. All right, so just go ahead and play. So now Sean will stop playing. Turn this way down.
So now I should be able to play over this, right?
Yep.
Right now. Notice how it's not grabbing anything.
That's right. So what we're also going to do is we're going to add some reverb
Turn it on the left side, yeah.
because I think it would sound good, right? But first, this knob in the middle here, it determines what is what the effects are processing.
Okay.
So it's either going to process just your loop
Right?
and your dry, or just your dry.
Okay, so I can add the reverb
Right,
to everything?
right.
Just the loop or just the drum?
That's right. So, and what's really cool is if this, I can hit this and record this loop, which we're going to record again,
Okay, yeah.
and you'll be able to hear the difference between like the reverb
Sure,
being
sure.
on
Okay,
everything. So
cool,
so
so-
I'm going to turn the sensitivity back up.
So I guess that's what we've got. That's what captured, right?
Yep. And you can hear that your dry sound has no reverb, but now
And the reverberated
that's right. That's right. And
signal has it.
right. Now, to be clear, the mix on the pedal still has to be up, right? So I have the reverb on, it's not there. So you have to turn the
Right.
mix of the pedal up. So now if we switch this, your loop that we have, it's not going to have any reverb on it.
Okay.
And then that will have reverb. Right? And then we go back to having both.
Cool.
So, for me, the benefit of having this pedal is not having something on my rig that I stomp when I want to sound like X. It's creating layers. And I encourage to have a looping pedal after this, right? So you're writing a song, and then now all of a sudden you have this texture.
Right. And it's creating a sample, essentially. It's
Right.
I don't know if you want to call it an ambient sample generating machine. That's definitely a use for it.
Sure.
I think. Making textures, making soundscapes. I think it's something that is just incredibly interesting.
Right.
Like, these are sounds that, imagine the processing you have to go through to get that sound. and the steps that you have to go through.
Oh yeah.
It to me, and I've just had limited time with it. It's almost like you play something, you mess around, and then you discover a sound.
Yeah,
Rather
absolutely.
than like I'm thinking of this, I'm gonna try to get it.
And that's what's so fun about this pedal is it's reactive and it inspires creativity. Like you sit down and you twist knobs for an hour and you're just having fun. You're making sound for the sake of having made sound, and it's really fun.
For sure. And
Yeah.
I think some of our favorite musicians are kind of like sample based.
Absolutely.
Musicians. Like
Yeah.
think of Bonobo, Video, Boards of Canada,
Boards of
kind of
Canada.
that kind of vibe.
Right.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yep.
I think that's a great use of this pedal.
Sure.
The ultimate use.
And so then we'll just so that we can get through all the different modes, we'll do time or I'm sorry, it's called tape. And tape basically we're going to be able to play our sample double fast or double in reverse, or half speed reverse, half speed forward, right? So you're going to hear this sound being stretched, which is also going to affect the pitch because it's being stretched. So we're going to just put it right here at noon, and I'm going to put this here, and we're going to make it a nice short sample and just finger pick some cool little chords here. And then stop playing. So this is the sample that we have, and so we can then speed it up or slow it down. I'm sorry.
Hey, whatever.
That's what I get. Yeah. So then again, now we have something that we can do something rhythmic. We can turn the delay section on. Right? And then we can slow it down.
That down. See, now it's like it's a mood.
Yeah.
I think that's really the perfect name for this pedal.
Right. So we can reduce the length of the sample. So this is really interesting. You can you create some interesting textures.
Specifically, it's very easy just to make noise with this pedal.
Right.
Grab something, start moving it around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom, noise generator.
And then lastly is the stretch mode, which is transparently this is the mode that I've had a hard time capturing.
Sure.
It's a challenging. It's challenging, but what we're able to do is take our sound and stretch them out. So we're actually going to make it a little bit of a longer loop. That way you can just keep playing that. So real quickly, the length of the loop in stretch mode is designated by this red light flashing. The length of the section of the loop that will be stretched is what this controls, right? So we're going to make it stretch. We'll make it stretch a large portion of it, right? And then it will. And so if Sean stops playing, we can hear it's grabbing and kind of
take a piece
glitching.
of the loop, a loop of the loop. Now, does it randomly choose a section of that? Like I know you set how long of the section it grabs. Does it grab a part? Do you even know like what?
So that's a great question. I think that. So what I think it does is and this is pure speculation.
Sure.
I think that it starts at the beginning of that loop. So so if I have the length all the way up from me playing with it, and I've only had it for a few weeks, so I'm still learning. But I think that it's grabbing a percentage of that loop. I don't think that it's random, but it might be knowing this pedal.
You never know. What goes
So.
on. Yeah.
So as you can see, this pedal has a lot to be discovered and a lot to be experimented with.
It's an instrument in and of itself.
It really is.
And I think that's what the joy of pedals is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think a lot of players are out there like, why do I even need pedals? I could just get like a bias effects thing or something like that, or just plug in or plugins or whatever.
Sure.
To me, pedals are about inspiration and creativity, and I think this is really kind of like the quintessential pedal representing that.
Absolutely.
And
I do want to do one more thing before we stop, and that is I'm not going to go through all of the dip switches, but you should know that there's a functionality that just about every knob on this pedal can be automated to where it bounces back and forth these places. It's every Chase Bliss pedal is like this, and so if we have the reverb on, for instance, and we can actually make interesting sounds by moving this knob as Sean is playing, right? without that, it just sounds like
Yeah, you're just...
right. So you're able to create unique modulation effects just by being creative and setting.
Especially
these
if you don't have a handsome, dapper gentleman there to control the pedal
That's
while
right.
you're playing.
That's right.
Comes
That's
in
where
very
the ramp
handy.
knob comes in. So
Yes.
and we did our best, I think, to try to run down the basis of what this pedal is, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of videos out there about this pedal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
one thing that I watched a bunch of them, and I didn't really understand what they're trying to get at. That's why you come to this man for the knowledge.
That's right. Yeah.
To explain it in a way that
Yeah.
a layman can understand. A babe in the pedal world such as myself.
That's right. And honestly, we might end up doing a part 2 where I come back and I say, look, I misspoke about 8 things,
Yep.
and we're going to go over why I misunderstood them because, like I said, I've only had it for a while. But it is very fun. It's a lot of fun.
There you go. So, Chase Bliss Mood. Check it out. And then, if you still have money left over, you can buy the MasterClass at me.
That's
and my guy
right.
Nate.
Yeah, we're gonna help you to fretboard mastery.
That's right. So check that out in the link. Justin, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
If you have any questions or comments or any just particular moods you'd like to share.
That's right.
That you're always in the mood for.
Yeah.
What mood are
What
you
are
in
you
right
in the
now?
mood for?
Let us know in the comments section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website.
That's right.
Talk to you soon.